Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts. In today's video, we're going to be making a flip top lid box. So the lid flips back and there's another lid. The front opens up like so, and I have a space here in which to put a gift card and an additional section at the back for some treats. I am one of these people who is happy to give gift cards for birthdays or Christmas, but I do also think that it's quite nice to give something, a small treat to go along with the gift card, something more tangible. So this, I think, is the perfect solution. I've got space here which I can add an additional piece of cardstock to write my message, and then space here for my gift card. Of course, you don't need to put a gift card in here. You might want to add a shaker front to this box just to add an extra element of decoration, but I felt that this was a good 2-in-1 combo. The overall size of the box is 4 inches high, 3 inches wide and 1 inch deep, and of course you can resize this to suit your needs. So let me show you how I put this quick and easy project together. Start with a piece of cardstock which is the length of A4 and 6 inches wide. Along the 6-inch side, score at 1 and 5. Rotate. Along the long side, score at 3 1/8, 6 1/8, 7 1/8, 10 1/8, and 11 1/8. Keep the piece in the scoreboard. At 2 5/8, we want to score down to the first score line only, and repeat at 6 5/8, down to the first score line only. We then want to score at 3 inches between the first and the second score line. So between the 1 inch and the 5-inch score line, we're scoring at 3 inches. I'm going to put my score tool in at 3 inches, run it along the track, and then when I get to the score line, I'm going to press down. Fold and burnish the top and bottom 1-inch score lines on the long sides. Fold and burnish the 3 1/8 of an inch score line, so the full score line as a valley fold, and the remaining score lines we're going to fold as mountain folds. So what will happen is we will, once we've done our cutting, fold along this to create this gusset. This is going to be the front flap, which will open, and this section is going to come round and sit like so to create effectively the box, and then we will add the lid on. So we'll do our cutting to start with. So take your scissors. Now I'm going to cut along these score lines to the 3 1/8 of an inch score line, and this is going to create the shape for the front page, as it were, that's going to be seen. So you do want to try and cut along these score lines as neatly as you can. We'll start from the left hand side score line, cut along to the next horizontal, do the same on this side like so. Rotate, so we've got our additional score line, and we can cut away along the additional score line to remove that section like so. Rotate back and remove this bottom section by cutting up the vertical. So we'll continue with the rest of our cutting. Our piece is in this orientation. we can cut up each of these score lines to the horizontal. We're going to remove this end rectangle, like so. Take a wedge from the smaller glue tabs that we've created. Take a wedge from this end, cut up the next vertical, rotate and remove that outer section, take a wedge. We're now going to cut all the way along through the first 1 inch section, through the 3 inch section, up to the start of the next 1 inch section, like so, so just beyond our additional score line. Rotate and remove that piece in its entirety. We can then take a wedge from these 2 tabs, which are going to be the front flaps sitting inside for our lid. And we can now go in and burnish along the 3 inch score line. So just to reiterate, this is our front page. You may not feel that the gusset is necessary. I've put the gusset in there just so that there's room for the gift card to sit in, and then this piece is not going to stretch to wrap around. So this piece will come round. This hinge is going to stick inside like so, and these 2 are going to sit inside to create the lid for the box element. So you could, if you would find it easier, now go ahead and add your DSP onto any of the surfaces. I'm going to glue mine together first. I'm going to use my quick grab glue, add glue to this long glue tab, pull up the front of the box, and I'm going to line the score line of this 1 inch section up with the score line at 3 1/8 of an inch. So we want to leave our gusset section completely unaffected. We want that to remain untouched by this side section. So try and get that lined up as neatly as you can. Once I'm happy that's in place, I'm just going to go on the inside with my score tool and burnish that down. This is the front element, so I'm going to slot those 2 in, push down the back. In fact, I'm going to add some glue to these small glue tabs. So I'm going to push the back down, get that sitting squarely. Add glue to this long section, pull this across to create the base of the box. I can then open up the top and just go down inside with my score tool and burnish that down into place. And for personal preference, I'm just going to add a finger notch into the section. So whilst this is drying, we'll make the lid. For the flip top lid, you need a piece which is 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. Along the 5 1/4 inch side, score at 1 1/8. Rotate and score at 1 1/8. And along the short side, score at half and 1 5/8. Fold and burnish. With the 1/2 inch tab in front of you, cut up the verticals to the horizontal at both ends. So we split this into 3. Rotate and remove the rectangle. Cut up the next vertical to the horizontal to split these 2 tabs. Rotate, remove the rectangle and cut up the next score line to the horizontal and cut a wedge from the ends of the back glue tab. So this glue tab is going to sit inside the box, and these two pieces are going to come around to form the side of the box. Now what we want to do is we want to cut that into a diagonal to give the flip top lid, and I'm going to stick the tab, which is adhered, which is the front element of the box, over the top of the tab which is on the top element of the box, just so it creates a nicer look from the front. So stick that one over there, repeat at the other end, add glue to this one and stick this one over the front. When they're dry, we've got our glue tab at the top. We're going to cut from the bottom right hand corner across to the top left hand corner. Like so. Repeat on the other end. So I've got my tab at the bottom and I'm cutting from the bottom left hand corner across to the top right hand corner. So we can now take our box and, using whatever is your preferred adhesive method, we're going to use the glue tab to adhere this inside the top of the box. So I'm going to use my construction glue, which is going to give me a bit of wiggle room. Open this up and move this out the way and sit this inside. So my score lines is just above the top edge of the box. Once I'm happy, burnish that into place and just bend back the lid to make sure that it bends back properly. So this sits neatly over the top, like so, and encloses the front flap into place. So when even when this opens and my gift card is revealed, I've still got this element which is hiding what's inside here. So that's fundamentally our box. I'm going to go ahead and decorate the outside, and then I will come back and show you the decorated piece. Here's my finished decorated box. I've used DSP on all of the surfaces. Is from this Make and Create design pad, which was £2 from the Works. The What's Inside die is from this Simply Made Crafts gift card box and exploding presents die set, and this has given me the What's Inside die and also the die to cut the gift holder section inside. So this is my section here to add my gift card. And I've used a Stamps by Me Special Wishes stamp and die collection to create the Merry Christmas on the front. And overall, I'm really happy with how this box has come out. So there we have today's project. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.